making the call. I need to put it on speaker. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Winnie.
Hi.
My name is Loy.
Yes.
Thank you so much for agreeing to speak to me.
Yes.
The first thing is just to give you a bit of a moment to introduce yourself.
I'm in Freedom Choir. I'm a mom. I'm a mom to 3 boys. Currently, I'm living in Ongata Rongai. I'm an upcoming pastry chef. That's what I want to focus on.
Let us know where you come from, where you grew up, and how it was for you as a child.
I was born in Thika. So my parents my dad and mom were living there, and they were still working there. They were employed, and they did business too on the side. I come from a family of 5 children. I went to Kenyatta Primary School. That's where I started my schooling. Then I did my KCP in Kenyatta, but the school I was called in, it was Monyo Girls. I didn't know more about that school, but from what I had heard from people about that school, especially to do with the striking, in secondary schools, it was majorly known for that. So I told my parents I don't want to go to that school. So I had to repeat class 8, where I went to Thika Primary School. I did my KCP once again there. And I'm glad, because where I went, I was so much encouraged, especially the headmaster from that school. He really encouraged me and told me it is not a problem to repeat, because my parents thought I still had good marks then to go to Monyo Girls. But I was here feeling like, no, I don't want that school. It looks low, in terms of performance and all that, because I majorly I think I focused on, if they are striking, these people don't like reading. So I changed. I got so much encouragement from the school I went to repeating, and I performed. And then I was called at Karinga Girls High School. It's in Gatondo. That's where I did my Form 1 to Form 4. And from there, I was just at home and doing part-time, whatever. I was doing computer here and there. But I'm one person who likes, I think from my childhood, I don't like just sitting down. So I just find myself engaging in things here and there, maybe church, community work, and all that.
So let me ask, what career path were you wanting to follow? I can see that you are very focused with your education and, being very deliberate about the schools you are choosing. What career path were you trying to follow at that point?
From the word go, I really love journalism. I would admire people like Sophie Kenya, Catherine Kasavoli. I really was so passionate when it was time for the news. My dad really loved to watch the news. When it's time for the news, I really want to sit there and watch with him. I never made it to even a class in college of journalism, because I know my parents were struggling here and there because of the school fees, and having that we had someone following me, our last born brother. So they were more of wanting to ensure all of us at least got an equal chance. I went for more of the computer packages. And from there on, I just started working here and there, from companies to even acting in acting set books with mobile theaters.
Take us back to your first earnings. How did you earn your first money when you were starting out in life?
My first earning, I was still at home. And it was through babysitting for the neighbors. Maybe sometimes they've got a house help, and they say, oh, today I want to go home, I don't want to stay here like that. So I would find myself getting such openings. I would babysit for them, help them with work around the house. Even if I got a chance to maybe do some cutting of the grass, I would do so exactly, as long as I was going to earn something. You know that youth time when you want that money for yourself, because you want something, and sometimes you cannot go ask for that money from your parents because they are also catering for other things at home.
Exactly, money for the salon. I don't know, for
yes.
Yeah. Maybe you take us through the journey of, from those beginnings when you were a young lady and starting out with, just earning and, touching money, when you start getting money in your hands. Take us through the journey now to where you start this business that we're going to talk about today.
Well, I grew up in Thika. I used to hear people doing business, I would hear people in Nairobi. You will find people who are very young and they are doing business, So I was so connected to Nairobi. People were working, very young people were working to fend for themselves, I remember one day sharing with a friend, having grown in a home where my mom also, apart from employment, when they were laid off from work, she used to cook mandazi and we sell. She could do like roasting maize, we sell. She could go to the market, buy things like mangoes, we sell just outside the place we were staying, yeah? So I was so that's where I got my first touch of business, yeah? So when things happened, doing one or two things here and there until I grew up, I went into a relationship with the man that I'm living with now. I really wanted to do business. I knew business would be the point where I'll be able to raise my kids without a struggle. Yeah? So after my firstborn, I really knew I was going to nurse. And after that, after the baby is about 1 year or 1.5, I would go into business. But it happened when I was nursing, I got my second-born.
Was it an oops?
Yes. It was an oops affair.
I understand.
Yes. I got shocked. I got confused. Along the way, I really appreciate his coming because it also came with a lot of blessings on the other end, because it also pushed us as the parents to work more to be able to bring them up. It was a challenge also because it made my husband also interview for other jobs. And in fact, he interviewed while I think I was about a month pregnant with the second-born. And when he interviewed, the very same day he interviewed he sent his CV. He got a call immediately the same day and he's still going to work. So he had to fix himself. The best thing about it is because he was a real estate agent. Mm-hmm. So it was a bit easier to maneuver in between the day and go for the interview. And in the first interview, he was told, imagine you have to correct your CV here. They directed him how to correct it. And it will be perfect for the company that is wanting to employ you. And immediately he did that. He got a job. He got a job within 3 days.
Wow.
Yes. And I remember very well, it was where he was working, he was being paid 12,000 a month. And when he got this job, it was a 30,000 per month job.
More than double.
Imagine. So I was like, this child has his own blessings. And then it was a new company. So we were so much welcomed, even with, they knew even about him and the coming child, the oops baby. So from there, I managed to raise my kids up to, the first one was about 1.5, and the second one was about 6 months old then. I just sat down and thought, now it's time to do something else, also to support my husband. And from my mom, you see, my mom was, when he was laid off at work, mm-hmm. When she was laid off, she used to do mandazis, and at home, she used to love cooking for us, good meals, yeah? So I told myself, I have a skill that I've learned from home. Then I can use this skill to grow myself. So I started with first of all, I started with a hotel in partnership with a friend. This is a kibanda, Njiani. So we started out, it was good at the start. But unfortunately, at the same time, I had employed a house girl for the first time. And unfortunately, my child had a problem. He became sick, my firstborn. he had a problem with going to urinate. So we had to take him to hospital, and we were told that he has to be circumcised. So when we went through this, it was a very tough time because my husband, you know, from the pressure, from the family, they were like, maybe it's the house help, you know, this worries it. But deep inside, I knew it was not her, because even when we were going in the theater for my son to get the anesthesia, the lady there, the nurse, told me this happens mostly if the baby was playing with his susu, you know, and it comes and blocks the front part. Then it makes him have a burning sensation when he wants to go to urinate. So from there, because of the arguments here and there, I had to release my house help, and I had to stay home again for the meantime and look after my babies and try to find how I can work with them.
So let me just reverse a bit. You were mentioning about the startup that you did with the kibanda. You said you partnered with a friend.
Yes.
So I want us to talk very candidly about money and about, you know, the realities of money and how the struggles, you know, the real life struggles. Yeah. You know, many times when people are sharing these stories,
yes,
the money, I don't know why we are so, you know, we find it awkward to talk about money, but I hope that we can just be real about the situation on the ground. So I wanted to ask, how did you guys start? Where did you get the money to actually even set up that kibanda? If it is, you know, buying the plates and the jiko and all these things, where did you get that first money to begin?
To begin, I borrowed money from my husband that time. I remember we were to come up with about 5,000 shillings. So I was to come up with 2,500 and her 2,500 because the shop were not to pay a deposit. We were just to pay the shop only.
So the shop was the one with 5?
Yes.
Okay.
I borrowed money from my husband, and also for her, she used to go for these vibaruas for washing clothes for people and all that. So she came up with some money from her savings. And for the starters, the things we used in the hotel, like at first we had, she had some things from her house, at least we could use them. She had like something like a floor to sit on, a table we got from her house. And then I also came with a jiko from my house. I had the pan for mandazi, the spoon, because I used to cook at home also. And we raised also some capital for buying stuff. It was about 1,000 bob. It's like unga, oil, and market things like vegetables and all that. So roughly we came up with about 3,000 persons.
So I guess you can move on. So this did not work out and you had to go back home to now take care of your babies.
Yes. When I went back home, I left my friend at the kibanda. So my friend continued with the kibanda, incorporated the hubby in the meantime, as they were we were waiting on the next move. Maybe when things to Leah a bit, I would go back, you know. But unfortunately, also they got separated, the couple.
Okay.
That I left. So meant closing down the kibanda because I couldn't even handle it then.
By yourself?
Yes. I raised my kids, I think it is the same year. Until maybe around end of year there. That's when I decided. I woke up one day and just decided, why not? There was a lady who was selling chips at a kibanda outside just where I stayed. And I thought I should go talk to her and tell her if I can be cooking chapatis and put them in a hot pot, then put them there.
She sells for you?
Yes.
Okay. And
we agree on whatever the commission maybe to get from me. Luckily, she said she doesn't want anything, just I sell. Mm-hmm. She will be selling for me as I continue raising my kids. So it was easier for me then. For this one, I just took from my normal monthly shopping at home, I just took unga and mafuta, and I had a jiko, so I just had to buy the charcoal for cooking the chapati. Mm-hmm. Then it was about 30 shillings, the charcoal. 30 shillings was enough to cook that 1 kg unga of chapati.
Okay, uh-huh.
So I started with the 1 kg unga and I sold chapatis. From there, I was just selling until it came to a point you find even a family would come and buy chapatis, like 10 of them at a go. I grew up from that 1 kg to 2 kg. So I sold like that so until now when I decided, I could also be doing mandazis in the morning. I figured out if my children sleep from this time to this time, then I can wake up and do my mandazi early in the morning.
Yeah.
By the time they are waking up, I'm done cooking. Mm-hmm. So if I can even carry the baby to the kibanda, you see. I went talk to the lady. I started the mandazis. And from the mandazis, people, when they are fasting in the morning, they are going to work. But that's when I realized most people, when they are going to work, especially living in Rongai, and you're going to work to town, people have quite a hard time because some of them, to be able to manage the fare, they have to wake up very early to go to work. So I used to be out there by around 5:45. At least it was better security-wise. 5:45, I would go out and start cooking. And those people going to work would come find someone carrying like 6 of them, someone carrying 4. Then we had school-going children. They come, you pack for them in their dishes. Those who are not going that early, they will come to buy for breakfast so that they take breakfast and head to school by 6:30. And from there, that's when I grew in mandazis. I would find myself, I started with 1 packet of unga 2 kg, and I found myself growing to even 5 packets of 2 kgs.
In a day?
A day. Especially on the weekends, I would go up to 5-6 packets of 2 kgs.
So just
because now,
for us,
yeah?
How much does 1 kg packet bring back when you've sold, you've made them, you've used your oil?
For the mandazis, the 2 kgs then used to give me about 300 shillings. If I sell one at 5 shillings, yeah, I would have 25 balls. For 25 balls, you get about 100 mandazis, yeah? And from the 100 mandazis you sell at 5 shillings, you get 500. I remember I would get a profit of even about 800, 900 shillings.
So tell us now, at the point you are today, I want you to first of all just paint a picture for us of your day as it is now as you run your business, and also just a picture now of what the sales are like and how things are going with the business today.
Right now, I changed from this to when there was inflation in prices of products last year. Mm-hmm. It took quite a toll on me, and I just had to sit around this time of the year. I had to sit down and re-strategize what I want because I was not earning. Because I had grown now from selling at the kibanda, I had grown to taking to shops as a wholesale. When things got to that peak, because of the increment increase in the price of products, I got myself so worked up, and I decided to sit down and re-strategize last year, December, and I had to go. I decided to be doing house calls and orders from people, which I have not achieved for the orders, but house calls I've achieved because having about 5 repeat clients in a year, for me, it's quite an achievement. Having to cook for them every month, it's an achievement. Those low, but I'm happy because there is growth.
So when you decided to pivot into doing house calls, how did you market? How did you start this? Where did you get the clients that would now book you to come cook for them?
For the house calls, I remember talking to a friend, and I told her about how I'm feeling about my business. And she encouraged me to go on. So this friend introduced one of her friends to me, and the friend introduced her auntie in my home church. Mm-hmm. I just told the mamas around there that I do chapels for people, and Dazi, if you want, you can just call me. So I got about 3 clients from my home church, and that's what I've been working with. And again, sometimes these clients introduce me to their families. So my major point of getting clients has been through word of mouth.
Word of mouth. How does a typical day? So I'm assuming because you're doing house calls, it's not every day that you're going to somebody's house, or is it? Could you let us know
Yes.
how your day goes? How do you balance your time between your business, your family, and how do you manage your day from the time you wake up to the time you go to sleep?
Okay, for the meantime, I would wake up in the morning, and an advantage that I had with this new way of doing business, at least I don't wake up that early. Like during the mandazis, I used to wake up at 3 when I was taking to the shops, but now at least I can be able to wake up at around 6, prepare my kids if they are going to school, and they leave at 6:30. The father right now is into online writing. So when I get gigs, at least I leave the child with him or the neighbors around where I stay if he's not around, and I go for a house call. But in between also, I get other businesses. The whole of this year, I got a friend who they were building. They were rebuilding their house and also building another. So they had funders at their site. So they gave me the place to do the business. I've been cooking for the site the whole year until now, and now they are clearing the work. So I'm back to house calls again.
Okay, so that was like a catering, kind of outside catering gig.
Yes, I was cooking for them every day from Monday to Saturday.
So if you just look back at your journey so far, could you let us know what would you consider the highest moment or the best moment for you in business so far?
My highest moment in business was, I would say, during COVID. That time I thought, hey, because of this sickness, maybe food business will go down. But for me, that's when I sold the most to shops and to people at home. When I'm going to deliver for shops, I would meet people from my street. They would tell me, hey, tuachie moja, tuachie packet mbili, tuachie packet tatu. Children were at home.
Yeah.
So eating was that.
Yeah.
Was like every now and then. It is the point that I found myself even cooking up to 8 packets of 2 kgs of mandazi for shops and the clients I would get along the way.
And then if we now reverse, what would you consider the lowest point for you in your business? Could you just describe that?
My lowest point in business was when I thought I had grown to a point that I could open another business, and I went to Mtumba then. I had saved some money from my mandazi business. I decided to start Mtumba business. I started with kids' shoes and then clothes. So I opened this business, and I would leave my nephew working there. He would help me when I go supply mandazi. Be left at home doing some cleaning a bit. Then when I come back, he goes to open the clothes business as I stay with the kids. While I was starting this business, my husband lost his job. We really went through a lot to a point of having an eviction from where I was staying. And I had to downsize because I didn't have enough money to rent in such a place that I was staying. And it also kind of brought a separation between us because my husband had to move with the kids. It was so hard. We didn't agree on this. He also went into alcoholism. So it was quite a low moment for me. And I really struggled to keep up with the second business. And I really struggled to do things in order to make things work. I remember that time I was working I was doing my hustle, the businesses, and I could also I found another place where they were selling cakes. I went and inquired so that I could sell their cakes on a commission. And still, I found a part-time employment to do as from 11. It really got a toll on me until it came to a point. There was a time I was cooking, and you see, I was not eating well, and I'm overworking. It came to a time the Tuko was almost killing me.
Oh, what happened there?
We were cooking, and because normally we cook with my nephew. So while we were cooking, I just felt like I'm not well. I was feeling just I'm not well. Even I was not feeling dizzy at first, but I would feel that I don't have strength even to roll out the balls. So I told myself, let me go outside a bit, relax, then come back, continue, and I finish. So when I went out to relax and then I stood up to come back to the house, I remember I just fell. I just fell close to a neighbor's house, and they had the fall, yeah? So when they came out, they picked me up and took me back out completely at the compound, open space. They did the first aid. I stayed out there, and that was it. And I got back. I did my job, but I had to find somebody to supply the bandages for that day. So that was it. And it was, I think I was also stressed. It was too much to take on.
I can imagine. So you've described a very rough period, not only in business, but also in your life. If I could just ask a little bit, could you maybe give us a bit of how you pulled out of that phase? So I know, of course, at the time, the timing was bad, and you've just started a new business. Your husband just lost his job, and then, of course, maybe, was it during COVID? Was it around that time?
Yes, it was around that time.
Yes, so again, also the world is also, going through this major thing. How did you find a way out of this situation to now where you have these home calls and all this? Could you maybe just give us a little bit of what got you out and how you got out of that?
So for me to get out, I decided it's time to talk to somebody. I have a few friends that I can confide in. And majorly, I had a friend who was already going through a class about therapy and all that. So when I talked to her, she decided to take me through the journey. So she would WhatsApp me, like even twice in a week. We go through how the week has been. She will encourage me. She will help me. Majorly, it's the two friends who knew about what I was going through. So one could help me even with food stuff and all that where she could. And I had this other one taking me through the therapy. And also I remember there was one of them paid for a counseling session. And from there, I started picking myself up. I got a bit relaxed. And I was able even to, it was so hard for me to just sit down and see, like, when you have problems, you just think of ways to get money to get you out of the problem. Always we think it's about the money. So they were able to help me know that it's not only about money, it's also about my wellness. Because if I'm well, then the money can come after.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's how I went through it. And up to date, I'm still learning and unlearning things in my life, so many things. And I'm so proud of myself that even today, when these people were cooking at the site, when they became few, I remember last week I continued cooking, but this week I decided, no, I cannot cook. Even if I still have issues to deal with in terms of finance, I could sit down also and re-strategize again. So like yesterday I decided I won't take the tea for them and the chapatis, because when I look at the work I'm putting in and what I'm getting in terms of profit, it doesn't give me a satisfaction of what I want. So I decided to sit and look for other things to do. And luckily, like we are talking, I was telling a friend yesterday, I might lose Monday and Tuesday, but again, I told her I will get more along the days. Yeah. And funny enough, when I'm relaxed right now, today in the morning, I got a house call that I'll be doing in the evening. I got a call from a friend who is ready to help me with vision board planning and working on myself for next year, because I'm planning to launch my online my online kitchen. So I'm happy because I got that one. Also tomorrow in the morning, I got another house call to go and work. And on Thursday also, I have a house call that was booked last week.
So this week you're busy? Yes. Okay. So speaking of that, then let's now talk about the numbers. As I said, I would like us to really just bust this myth of, talking about money is awkward and all this. So I'll ask you to let us a little bit into your account books. Tell us about your business. How much do you actually make? For example, when you're doing a house call, how much are you charging? What are you going home with at the end of the day? And then paint a picture for us of what does that mean in a month? I know sometimes maybe there are more house calls or there are less house calls. Give us an average. How a typical day would look when you go for a house call. How much do you charge? Is it possible to do more than one house call in a day? And then what does it mean overall in a month, for example?
So per house call, mostly you get people want at least maybe one packet of chapati, the 2 kg one. And for this, I normally charge 250. So if I do 2 ungas, that comes to 500. Yes? In a day, I believe I could do 2 house calls for 2 ungas each, and that will translate to 1,000. So I'm looking forward to work with this majorly. The least, at least if I can get 2 calls in a day, it should be about 1,000 shillings in a day.
And so you're still, as we speak, you're still trying to build that client base and trying to get people who can book you regularly.
Yes. Apart from the house calls, for it to translate to 1,000, what I've been sitting on this month, I was trying to see if I go online, yes, and maybe decide I buy everything for myself, like let's say 1 packet unga, then I do, from this 2 kg, I do about 20 chapatis. I sell each at 30 shillings. I will get 600 shillings, translating to a profit of about 250 again. So if I get 250 from this, 600 from 1 unga, then if I get at least, I get to do 2 ungas in a day. So if I get 500 in a day, and I get maybe the 2 house calls. No, if I get 1 house call and this 2 ungas, then it still translates to 1,000.
So you have a path.
So my aim is to ensure I'm earning at least 1,000 in a day.
Awesome. And you can clearly see the path. You just have to now, do the actual work.
I'm in Ongata Rongai waiting to launch my kitchen in January. I'm really hoping by the end of this month I will be able to get a good name for it. Anytime you need a house call or you need to order, one can get me through this number 0711 404078. You can get me on 0711 404078.